If you want to know what the United States of America could in fact look like if Republicans take back both chambers this year in the midterms and win in the 2024 presidential election, then I would like to direct everyone's attention down here to my home state of Florida. Now, before I get into that, please understand, folks, I get it. I know Florida is not the only state doing these horrible things, passing these horrible laws, but when you add them all up, Florida has done more than any other state to not just curtail our rights, but to basically send us back to the dark ages. And while other states do have bits and pieces of what's been done here in Florida, nobody has the same number of oppressive pieces of legislation as we do. And I'm not trying to brag. I know that sounds weird for me to say that, but Florida is very quickly turning into a hellhole under the leadership of Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. DeSantis, as everybody knows, last year when the pandemic, that was 2020. When the pandemic began, DeSantis came out and said, no lockdowns, we're not shutting down the state, everything stays open. Well, eventually we did kind of have a statewide, lockdowns, if you want to call them that, for a couple weeks. It was after spring break, but before the summertime season. And then towards the end of May 2020, DeSantis said, nope, we're fully open for business. Everybody do whatever the hell you want. And we saw our cases rise. And every time there's a new wave, a new variant, Florida tends to get hit among the hardest of all the states because DeSantis refuses to do anything about it. And in fact, they passed legislation this year banning mask mandates. They tried to punish school districts who tried to enforce mask mandates to protect children. And that, of course, is just the tip of the iceberg. They passed legislation banning transgender athletes. They passed voter suppression bills akin to what was passed in the state of Georgia that's garnered national attention. They've got the anti-protest bills, one of the first things they did, that says, hey, by the way, if you're protesting and you're standing in a street, a motorist can run you down and they're not going to be held criminally responsible. So you can kill protesters, technically, because of this piece of legislation they passed. They're currently working on anti-abortion legislation that's going to rival what they've got over there in the state of Texas. They, of course, have the new legislation that's been proposed that would make it illegal for you to make white people feel uncomfortable if you're talking about race issues or history of the United States. They've banned, or are trying to ban at the moment, any discussion of sexual orientation or sexuality in our schools. You can't teach kids about LGBTQ issues. You can't have those open and honest discussions with kids that may be questioning who they are, what they are, how they are, and they need that guidance. Nope, if you try to help them out, you're going to get fined. And the list goes on and on and on. I mean, we have all kinds of oppression here in the state of Florida. Oppression against minorities, the coddling of white people, oppression against the LGBTQ community, oppression against women. Basically, again, if you're not a white dude, this is a horrible time for you to live in the state of Florida. And that's by design. This is what they want to do to the rest of the country. Florida has become, as author David Pepper would tell you, a laboratory of autocracy, meaning they get to pass all these little autocratic laws down here in the states. Florida just happens to be a good example. Ohio, where David Pepper is another great example. They pass all these laws, and if the laws are successful, if they stand up in court, other states look at it and say, great, now that it's legal, we're going to do it too. Florida just happens to be doing it a lot faster than everybody else. They're the ones setting the pace at this point. So again, if you want a picture of what America could look like in 2025, if Republicans take back the branches of government that they've lost, then all you got to do is take a quick trip through Florida, and I can promise you, you're not going to enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you saw, don't forget to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to our Ring of Fire channel here.